I lived for years in his shadow, without realizing when my voice had faded. My presence was nothing but an echo of his desires, needs, and anger. Without saying a word, I gave up on my dreams, my friends, my freedom, on everything good around me. I never knew what it meant to belong to myself, until recently. In the last year, things took a dark turn. Threats became part of the daily routine, and humiliation was his form of affection. I was a shadow, lost in silence and fear. He forbid me from seeing my children, from hugging them when I cried, or even just saying goodnight. There were days when I felt like a mother only in name. One night, after an argument that turned into something far worse, I saw my reflection in a mirror. My eyes were sunken and empty. That's when something broke inside me, and I realized that if I didn't find the courage to live, I would have nothing to live for. I would lose myself completely. I was aware that even my children couldn't endure a life of terror anymore. I felt that if I didn't do something, I would lose the connection that I have with my children. They are my only pure love in my life, my air and my water. For the first time, I went to the police. Trembling, with my heart pounding so loudly, I thought the officers would hear it too. I filed a complaint and requested a protection order. The court appearance was an experience that made me feel small, exposed, and vulnerable. I had moments when fear overwhelmed me, and I thought maybe it would be better to give up and return to that cell I called home. I continued, driven by one thought: to defend my soul and my rights. Then the judge spoke, and his decision was clear. My request for the protection order was granted. For the first time, I felt that a corner of the chain that held me prisoner had broken. Even so, it was still hard. In the following days, I started going to therapy. The first session was overwhelming. I remember how hard it was for me to speak, to put into words all the wounds, all the tears I had swallowed. My therapist taught me to look at myself with gentleness, to allow myself to feel, to accept that there are people around me who respect me and value me for who I truly am. With every session I attended, I felt like I was peeling away layer by layer of pain and suffering, until, step by step, I began to rediscover myself. I started making progress in my relationship with my 2 children. I do everything I can to get closer to them, to rebuild the bond that had been so suffocated by his control. Every conversation, hug, and smile from my children strengthens my belief that it's not too late. I still have days when doubt creeps into my soul, and it's hard to believe that I deserve love and respect. But one thing I know for sure: in all my fragility, I had the courage to save myself. Now, for the first time in my life, I'm starting to live.